Hello, ladies and gentlemen, damas and herren. Welcome to the stream. I hope you've all had a wonderful day. Apparently, the overlay hasn't loaded in, so I'm just going to refresh that quickly. Be prepared for very quick backlog to trigger. One moment.
Bevy engine developer makes game in Bevy.
Lol.
Nope. Things couldn't be fucking worse.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. But we're gonna have a chill stream today, so you feel free to join us. Me and Morty are gonna do some game development, aren't we, mate? Yeah. We currently have the real treat for Morty request paused.
But I see this as be a part of the problem, not the solution.
That's totally fair. Being part being a part of the solution is overrated. Instead, just be part of the problem. It's fine. We're gonna listen to chill music. We're gonna have chill vibes. You got me and Morty here.
Solutions are just chemicals.
That is true. They are. Solutions are just chemicals and code. Both of which are kind of interesting. See, it seems we've still got this Crunchyroll thing. I'm not sure if anyone's seen this.
Why do I get placed on a team with a nerd and a cat? Why couldn't I pick?
I mean, that's really a question only you can answer. It's not one that I'm going to be able to answer for you. Because I don't know why the world chose me to be a massive nerd. But it did. And now I'm making it everybody else's problem.
Your chicken run image is showing. Nice.
It is. It will show up for about 2 minutes and then it'll fade out. So, let's jump in and see where we were, because I don't quite remember what we did yesterday. I was slightly out of it. So we're going to jump on over to this. As you can tell, my computer rebooted because there were macOS updates. So I'm fully expecting things to be completely fucking broken. Okay. So here we go. Let's log in. Go full screen. Okay, so what things have we added?
Question. Is it planned for one server only, or multiple servers?
I'm so glad you asked. I'm actually really glad you asked. So, if we restart the client, you'll notice that in the bottom it says World 100. Just here. Now, that also has... Sorry, didn't mean to do that. That also has a little picture of a server icon indicating that this is a local world. If we quickly go over to the current production version, when I say production, I mean the one that is currently available to testers on itch.io. One moment, this takes me a little moment to boot up because I don't have itch.io open all the time. Right, so if we go to itch.io and we launch the game from here instead, you'll notice that this has a globe icon and it's World 101. And that's because this is a production world. Now, once I do have multiple worlds running, my plan is so you'll be able to click down here.
Get it, cool.
And select which world you want to run on. So, yeah, there will be multiple worlds. It's just not something we've got running yet. A lot of the infrastructure behind it is there already. But yeah, that's how it's going to work. Okay. So, yeah, so last stream we got these punching bags added. And I quite like how they work, so you can go up to them and they swing.
But servers like NA, EU, or just servers with whatever available locations?
So the plan is that there will be a number of servers, and we can create more servers the more people want to play it. My current expectation is that one server should be able to handle 150 people without any sort of problem. The more complex we make the game, the lower that number will be. And obviously, you can't see more than 30 people in the same chunk as you at any one time. So there's probably going to be one world at launch, maybe two, just so that I can give the US and EU.
I'm asking because there's no modding. But is it still going to be like a single server where 1,000 people could connect, or a server will have limit?
So
you answered this, but those were my thoughts.
Yeah, totally. So the way I want it to work is you'll have a list of worlds and it will show you how busy they are. I'm going to quickly go over to here. And 1 second, let me just... I don't want to Google this live on stream because I'm slightly worried about what will come up, given that I know the internet. So give me 1 second to find a screenshot of what I want to do. Yeah, there we go. So if you remember Club Penguin from back in the day, they used to have this screen where you would pick a server from a list of available servers, and then you could select more servers to see the full list. So the idea would be that it would show you the worlds that are nearby to you, and then you could select the full list to see a full list of all the servers that were available. So that's sort of my thoughts on that. I don't know how that will feel to play, but yeah. That's the hope anyway. Oh, that's interesting. What's gone wrong here? Deprecated extensions. Apparently there has been a new Postgres extension in VS Code. Alright, so we're using this one instead, which has a new logo. Ooh, interesting. They've now got connections. Does that mean... Ooh. Server files. Interesting. How does this work?
Will the servers be hosted by you? Or can I get the server thing and host it myself? I don't particularly care. But I'm asking since, will servers have some sort of configs where you could define some things for something IDK?
Possibly. I'm in two minds about this, right? I wouldn't feel comfortable giving privately hosted servers access to...
I half wrote that sentence and forgot to say some things.
Yeah, that's fine. So here's the thing. Obviously, because this is a persistent game, and when you log out, your data is saved, there is a risk if we allow people who are hosting their own servers access to the main game database, because they could very easily create mods to the server that would lead to cheating, right? And in fact, that's a very big problem that happened with some online shooters back in the day, like Modern Warfare, the original, where people would do a self hosted lobby, you'd join it, there'd be mods on it, and then while you were on that modded lobby, they would bump up your levels. Now, obviously, that's not something I want because this is an RPG and I want people to be able to feel like they've got progression and stuff. So, there's some concern there. That being said, my stance is probably one of
I thought it so it's like progression is based on server.
that's the thing.
Like I can't join 5 servers and have one progression.
Yeah, so the progression is shared across all servers. You have your character, and all the servers are at different locations that you can connect to. There shouldn't be any real difference. Maybe we might have PvP enabled servers and PvP disabled servers, that sort of thing. But I don't want to have you log onto this server and you have an entirely different character. Although, based on the system that I've built, that would actually be possible because your login details get sent to the server you're connecting to. Which is part of the whole thing about having people self-hosting servers is kind of bad. But that being said, again, if I decide to say shut down the game because I couldn't say I keep the game up for 10 years and I can't, there's no one playing on the official servers, I would probably upload the servers for other people to self-host, and then you can put your own database behind it and log in there. I don't think I would mind that too much. I would have a problem though. Yeah, like I say, I think there's certain considerations that I'd have to make. But right now, there's just one.
I mean, I don't see it useful to have one character on all servers. Since then, a player might connect to an easy XP gain or something like that and grind there and join the powerful servers.
So, I get what you're saying, but if I was going to do an easy XP gain thing, then that would probably be locked to its own server. Or it would be like a double XP weekend sort of thing, and I would make that available across all of the servers at the same time. Then there's other things that I could do, say, I could say, I don't know. Hang on, has my music stopped? I don't know whether I've got it on auto loop. No, it's playing. Cool. I could do something like having a particular server which is only for players which have a total level greater than 50 or something. That's something we could do. Like there are options. That being said, login isn't even fully implemented. Because right now, I think I've shown this before, but if I go over to the server folder and I look into this server folder here, this is connections code, don't worry about that. There is somewhere in here, I think it's in here. So we've got connection status, debug, implement connection, read messages, that's not what I want. Here we go, validate auth. So this here is authenticating the client. Oh wait, that's validating a connection that's already authenticated. Oh, here's a big message.
Or you could split the servers into 2 or 3 categories. Like one is kinda creative, testing for people to try things out. IDK if useful. 2 could be the normal, and the third one could be something you have an idea for IDK. These aren't really game modes, it's still kinda same game. And then you could lock the player on these categories so a player could have 2-3 characters for specific category. Like also, you could have a testing server where you can stress test, and there you also have a character on its own.
Yeah, so that's actually like a completely valid like point. I think one of the things that I'm weary of is that I really don't care about you like having your email. This is one of those things that being in the EU you've got to consider. But if you've got a game which requires an online database, then you're going to have to store some information in order to have the player log in. And stuff like emails and whatever is personally identifiable information. So you've got to have, a pretty strict privacy policy, whatever, for that. And one of those things that I sort of think about in my head is, do you actually need that for a game? It's one of those things that always makes me feel a little bit funny about signing up to play a new online game from an unknown developer, is when they ask for my email, I'm like, well, what are you going to do with it? Right? So part of me feels like I don't really care if when you register all you put in is a username and a password. That's what I'm thinking.
Initial stages, you can keep the no email.
Exactly. And then I'm thinking, well, if I have no email, then I'm happy for people to create multiple accounts. If you have 4 or 5 accounts and you want to play on those, I really don't
But later
care.
on, you could start off with emails if you want, or based on Steam or IDK.
Exactly. That's the other thing, is that if you have accounts that are based on things other than emails, then you can do other login methods quite easily. So the way we actually have this set up right now, do I have this installed or even nearby? No, I do not. So that's not one. Superbase. There we go. Right, so if we go to Superbase, and we go to my testing Superbase account, and we go to the dev database, you'll notice that we've got a few different tables. Now, there's this player info table, which has the username and the status. Now, each user has an ID. It's just auto-increment. And in most cases, this would be bad. It's usually a bad idea to have auto-increment IDs. Except, we're never going to be using these IDs because our primary key for this user is actually their name. It's just that IDs that are numeric are faster to look up. So yeah, we'll just create a new table, have it there, and it's pretty easy to add new login methods. That being said, as a slightly different note, our inventories have to be stored as binary data, which doesn't necessarily make them the easiest to view. Same with quest progress. They look kind of weird. And player equipment. So, anyway, we've sort of been talking about different servers. So let's go back and quickly look at what it is we've actually done on the game. Oh, right, yeah. One thing that I do want to do is add click and drag here so you can reorganize your inventory. Because right now that's not really possible. So we're gonna do some work there. Okay. So let's go out of here. Let's log out. And let's have a look at our inventory code, which hasn't been touched since very early on.
Are liquids placeable like Minecraft? I'd really love to see that. Glowing
No.
chicken liquid.
They're currently not. But right now you can drink chicken liquid, which is
Simon.
we're gonna look at the inventory stuff today
How much funding would it cost?
to do liquid fluids. Um, Look, we'd easily be looking in the thousands. We'd have to hire someone who was good at physics. Okay, so where is our inventory code? Here's our inventory code. Right, so we've got this inner vec of options, and we've got this changed slots. Now this is quite an old component, so there's some weird stuff about it. Like we have this stored inventory, which converts...
Best I can do is one gift sub. Take it or leave it.
It's alright, Thriller. Don't. We're not doing liquids. I don't want to... Lower item stack. That's interesting. What? It's interesting that that's in here. Okay. So this here and this here is all about conversion. So what I'm actually going to do here...
What about weather? Rain, snow, you never answered that.
Weather is planned. One moment. So this is something that I don't know whether I've ever spoken about. So I don't know whether anyone's ever really acknowledged it. But if we jump down to... Where is it? In core, we have date time. So there are different times in the game.
Weather with like full RTX lighting. Day-night cycle is cool.
Yeah, so we have a day-night cycle. And it does tell the client. I don't know whether the client currently has it enabled. But the game does change the lighting level depending on the day-night cycle. Bevy doesn't have great support for 2D lighting. There is a crate that does it pretty nicely, but it's not set up for isometrics. It's designed for top-down games. So part of me needs to, like, I need to sit down and sort of have a look and see what it would take to convert that library to support proper like isometric lighting as well. But I don't think it would be a massive thing, considering it's mostly in shaders. Okay, so we're going to go here. I'm going to move some of this to the scripting.rs. And we're going to take this out of here and put it in there. I'm going to create a new file in here, called it db.rs. I'm going to take this and this out of here, because I kind of want to simplify some of these files so that they're not massively complicated. So then we need to then go mod. Where is it? So mod db, mod scripting. And to make it so that we don't need to mess around with our imports, we can do this, which is not usually something I like doing. But we can do pub use db star and pub use scripting star. And what that does is re-export those two bits. Unused export scripting star. Interesting. Diesel prelude, that needs to go over to here. And this becomes super star. Super inventory, sorry. Super. Make sure to import the item stack. Import hash set. There we go. So that's our DB file, correct? This one also needs to have these item stacks like that. Right. that now allows us to use them both. Cool. To vec. Now there is a remove right now. Well, no, there's an add stack item. So this is sort of a complicated function, and we need to enable toggle word wrap. So this function merges a given stack into the inventory. Adding a negative valued stack can be used to decrement a stack of a given item. Now, we currently have it's not a bug, so to speak, but if we boot into the game like this, ignore the endlessly vibrating thing here. We don't know what's going on there. So that's an empty bucket, whatever. Right, so let's pick up this bread. And then let's eat half of it. So right now we have 2 halves of bread in our inventory. Now if I click on this second one, something slightly weird happens. Where it eats the first one in my inventory because it searches the inventory for the item that I've just asked to remove, and then it removes that item. But that's not looking in a specific slot. That's doing it at a specific point, right? So we need to create a new function that adds a stack to an individual slot or a specific slot. So let's try this. We're going to slightly separate our function because this function right now does quite a few different things. So let's think about this. We're going to say the first thing that we need to do is we need a function which gets the slot, or finds the slots which an item is in. Get slots containing item. And we're going to say and self. And we're going to say item ID U32. And this is going to return a vector of usize. Okay, so we're going to say for I in self.inner, and that's going to get us that, but we don't want that. We want iter.enumerate, and that allows us to get the index as well as, so we can change this to slot stack, right? And we can say, we can actually make this easier. So if we do filter map and put slot stack in here, like that, and we have this return. Make sure I get the syntax correct. And then we call collect on this whole thing. Okay. So then what we do is we say if, actually no, we say map match slot dot, it's not slot, sorry, it's item stack. We do stack dot, is it item ID or is it 1? Oh, that's an option. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So let's change this to, in this case, we return none. And then this is not an if, this is sum item stack, and we say we want the item ID to be equal to item ID. Oh, so actually this is a ID. We don't want that one. If ID equals item ID, in which case we return the slot. What's wrong? Oh, right. I see the issue. So we need to do sum. There we go. Now this is complaining because this one here is borrowed and that one isn't. Okay, so this function now returns us a list of all of the slots that contain a given item. Perfect. The next thing that we need is a function which returns all of the empty slots. Get empty slots. Like this. We don't need that one. And then this one, rather than this big long if statement, we take this to be none. So if the item is empty, then we return this. So now we've got those two functions, and that's kind of useful because that lets us do a couple of things that we couldn't do previously. So the next thing that we want to do, because right now this function is doing a lot of weird things, and we want to sort of replace some of this. So the next thing that we want to do is we're going to say add to slot. All right. This is going to take in and mut self. And then, what is this going to take? And mut self. It's going to take in a slot, which is the U size. And then it's going to take the item stack. The stack. Which is going to be an item stack. Like that. And this is going to return a result. And we're going to create a new thing which we've not set up before, which is going to be pub struct. Ooh. Server connection timed out, reconnecting. Interesting. Chatterino just disconnected. Is my stream still up? So my internet is, it's just Chatterino. I'm going to quickly reboot Chatterino just to be safe. Yeah. Although it looks like chat itself is connecting to chat. Is something going on? Well, I don't know. We'll just keep working. And if the stream crashes, someone will let me know, I'm sure. Okay, so we're going to create a new struct, and this is going to be called an inventory error. And actually, we can make this an enum. And we're going to call this inventory pull. And that's going to be our first error. And then we can do derive. Is it derive? We could say implement error. Standard format error for inventory error. I like that. What have I done wrong here? Consider importing. Oh, that's not what I wanted. what is this? Import error. Standard format error, standard error. Okay, and then we need to derive debug on this. Debug, clone, copy. Implement default. Oh, that's not what I want. What's wrong with this? Doesn't implement standard format display. Can I derive display? Import display, standard format display. Like that. And we can probably get rid of this here. We'll just say standard format display. Chat seems to be back up, so that's good. And we need to implement the missing members. And then this becomes okay. F dot. I swear I've done this before. Right? Apparently I haven't. Let me quickly double check this. Rust display. Oh, right, but just doing, yeah, that's fine. I was thinking that it was something simple. But that's just literally a standard thing. So we just do write like this, self. Like that. And then that's, oh, that's not what we want. And then we've got that and that. Perfect. So that's our very basic error. And then what we're going to do is we were setting up a new function. That's clear changed inventories, update inventories, has item. Okay, this one here. And this is going to return either.
What did you do to your head?
What did I do to my head? What do you mean? What did I do? I don't know. So I'm going to do U32, and we're going to pass in the case that it failed, an inventory error. So that gives us a little thing here. Fine. And we're going to move some of the logic from...
Did you get my message?
He increased the size of his cranium to use 100% of the brain.
Did you send me a message? Where? There's nothing in there. Did I get a whisper? No. It looks okay. I got your message about what did I do to my head, but that was the last message that I got. I think the issue is that Twitch had a weird momentary outage on the chat for me. I could access the rest of the stream resources, but it wouldn't let me see chat. And it's still saying that Scott isn't in the stream chat, despite the fact that he's one of the people actually writing. It's kind of bizarre. Okay. So, in order to add a specific inventory full.
The test came back negative. No lymphoma. It is sarcoidosis.
Okay, so from what I understand, that is a better outcome, right? So that is good. Item mismatch. We'll create a second one there. Perfect.
It is.
Okay, so then we're gonna create our item mismatch error. And then, so this add to slot, we're gonna say if self dot self dot inner, and we're gonna specifically get slot. Oh, actually, we can do this one better. We can do dot get slot.
Think of it like having shingles. It never goes away, but goes into remission for years.
Okay, that's... I don't know whether that's a good thing or what. That sounds like a bad thing, but I know that it's better than lymphoma. So...
It is less damaging.
Well, I'm glad that... I'm glad that it is better news, Scott. Okay, so we're going to do that. And then this is going to be stack here. Okay. I feel like there's got to be a way to... I know what we can do. We can do map slot slot like that. And in which case this becomes... Yeah, because map returns an option U. Yeah, okay. So this becomes a single option rather than two options. No, it doesn't. And then? But we know what that is. Try wrapping the expression in sum. Okay. So we're going to get that, and then we're going to do this. So then if the stack dot 0 does not equal stack dot 0. Oh, slot stack. Let's change this to slot stack as well. I am genuinely happy for you, Scott, that it is reasonably good news. Then we're going to return error, inventory error, item mismatch, like that. We'll do a return. Okay, so if that slot has something in it, and... Okay, we should probably do one better than this. So let's start by going slot current is equal to this. And this returns an option. And if it's... And we're going to quickly match this. I'm going to say sum slot equals slot none, in which case we need to return an inventory mismatch. I'm going to say out of inventory out of bounds. Where has that gone? Okay. Return error inventory out of bounds. Oh, inventory error. Like that. Perfect. So then That gives us our slot current. Then we don't need to do that. We can say if slot current is none, then we're going to say get mut. Okay. Then we're going to say star slot current equals stack.
I might be changing over to Zed as my editor. I love how it gives you hints and diagnosis on your code while you are coding.
Zed is pretty good. I've messed around with it once or twice, but never too fully. Okay, so then we're going to say let slot stack is going to be slot current dot asmut. Yeah, so that gets us the inner one dot unwrap. So now we've got the inner slot value. And then we can say if slot stack dot 0 does not equal stack dot 0, then we need to return this. Oh. Here we go. And let's comment this up. So we're going to start off by saying check the inventory has a slot of in this at this index. Then we're going to say if there is nothing in the slot, update the slot and return. Then the next thing that we're going to say is get the inner stack of the slot. We're going to then say if the the current item in the slot does not match the new item, throw. And then now that we've done that, we checked that both items are valid, but we do need some additional data. Although, okay, we've got the item list here, so we need to take that in. Like so. And then we're going to say let max stack is equal to This could be one of two things. We could either return the U32 or we could return an optional item stack. And I know that's a slightly confusing structure where this one fails, but we just do okay none there. And so then we do item list dot get item, and we change this to stack dot 0, and we say is some and actually and then yeah, we're going to take data and we're going to spit out data dot max stack like that, and then we're going to say unwrap or 0. Change that to map. Okay, so then we've got a max stack that we know, and then we can say Okay. Let new stack size. We're going to change this to be mut. Is going to be equal to the current slot stack size. So slot stack.1 plus stack.1. And that's what we're going to do initially. I'm going to say let remainder equals 0. And then I'm going to say if new stack size is greater than max stack, then if it's greater than max size, then we're going to do how do we do this? New stack size is greater than max stack size, then we say the remainder is equal to the new stack size minus the max stack. The new stack size is equal to the max stack. And then what we can do is we can now continue to the return. So then we can say that the stack that we inputted, we can say stack.1 is equal to the remainder and we can say if, oh actually we can say match we can actually do this better in 1 second. We can do match remainder and we can say 0 is okay, none, and otherwise we're going to return okay, sum, item stack, and this becomes the slots. Well, we can do stack.0 and we can say remainder, like that. So then add as much of the stack to the slot as we can. Return okay that nothing went wrong with any items that didn't get added. Okay, so that's a slightly different function, but this function that we've created here has O of 1 time, because this will take the same amount of time to run every time, whereas this function is messy. So let's create a secondary function. And we're going to create a new function that will adds to a specific slot. So let's now do a new version of this add stack, which will take the same arguments, to be fair. It's just that this is a that's not what I wanted. This is a really full function. Right. Where is our add slot? Here it is, and we'll add this below it. We'll say add stack. And this here will go what? Invalid internal error. Inventory error. Right. Go back down here. Where's our function? Inventory error. Okay. So we're now returning a result of either an option of item stacks or this. So then what we're going to do is we're going to say let available slots equals, and we're going to make this mutable. And this is going to be self dot get slots containing item. And we're going to say new stack dot zero like that. And then we're going to say let mut, and this is going to be empty slots is equal to self dot get empty slots new stack. Oh, actually, we don't need to do that one at all. And then we can do available slots dot append moves all elements of other into self, leaving other empty. And we can take this here and we can do and mut that. And that now gets us the combined values. So, and they'll be in order. So we'll have all the slots that have the item in already first, and then we'll have the empty slots. So then we're going to say for slot in available slots. So we now have the U size here. We can now try and do this. Stack. Okay. Add to slot. Okay. This becomes self.add to slot. I'm going to type in slot here. We're going to do item stack, which is going to be the same as this stack. And I'm going to say item list is the same as this one. And then I'm going to do that. I'm going to say let stack equals stack, like this. But we're going to clone it. We're going to make it mutable so that we can update it here. Like that. Try adding an that's fine. We've just not returned the result yet. And what's the problem here? Oh, stack. Dot zero. Okay, so now that we've gone through that loop, we now know what's left and what isn't. And we can do two things. We can either return that the inventory is full, or we can return an amount. So I think let's return an amount. So what we do is we say if no, we're going to say match stack.1. I'm going to say 0 is okay, none. And then in the case of all of the numbers, we're going to return okay, sum, stack. Like that. Ooh, okay. Say match. And we can say sum. Stack, new stack. And we can say stack equals new stack. And then we can say none. And we can return okay, none. Like that. Perfect. And then this 0 is never going to happen. Because if this returns none, then this is empty. So there's nothing there. So then we can simplify this here to be like that. Okay, much smaller function. What's wrong with this? Oh, this should be R. Okay. And what's wrong with new stack size? We never actually overwrite the stack. So we need to say update the slot. So here what we do is we say star.slot stack dot, actually we don't even need to do that, we can just do slot stack dot 1 is equal to new stack size. There we go. Perfect. And actually we can sort of be a little bit hacky here, because this new stack size, yeah, so actually what we can do here, slightly hackily, is we can do that. And then we change this from new stack size. And we say that. Fine. Okay. So let's quickly double test that that still works as expected. With our slightly fancy data structure. Oh. Okay. So if I drop that, we got interesting. What happened there? What's the difference between the old logic and the new logic here? Not what I wanted to do. Let's jump here. Can we pick up this bread? So it removed it from the ground, but it didn't add it to our inventory. Why? What's wrong with this? Yeah. So that should be fine. Slot current. Okay. Ah, slot current does something weird. slot current is equal to some stack. Hmm. So that gives us an option. Okay. Then we don't need to do this. Or this, really. So we've got this. This should be okay. Oh, I know why. Yes, okay. So our issue is that we're not updating self dot change slots dot push the slot that we need, which is this one. Insert, because this is a hash list. Okay, and then we also need to do the same over here, like that. Cool. Let's restart that and just give it a quick, yeah, that's not what I wanted to do. Run the server as well. Okay, logging in. Now let's try picking up this item. Okay, that works now. However, using the item doesn't get rid of it. But it is adding to our inventory. Well, no, to our hit points. But it's letting us use it repeatedly. Oh, that's annoying. So. Okay. What is the issue here? So we add to this. Why doesn't removing an item work? So we add a stack that contains 0. So here we've got the stack remover. Is okay. Equip it. Oh, this is a horrible function. Okay. Get the slot where we should remove it. Part of me thinks that this is kind of ridiculous because we've got. Let's first of all change this. And let's change this to item stack. And this should be item.0. And this should be remove minus item .1. That's a much better way of handling that. And then we're going to say if inv dot add to slot, and we know the slot. Oh, that's the wrong thing. I mean, either way, that's still what we want. Oh wait, then this is remove it from the inventory. So inv.addStack remover. Okay, so we can say if inv.addStack add to slot, right? So that becomes and item list. Where do we get the slot from? We do know. Okay, so we've got that slot there. Dot is okay. Fine. Then we're going to move this logic from in there, like so. Expected use size found character slot. Okay, let's change that to not character slot, like so. And then we put that there. And that becomes remover. Okay. Why does fine start as use size. Right. So that now adds to a specific slot. That adds to any slot, that's fine. This, however, should be add to slot. Oh, that's give item. Okay, never mind. So that should add it to any one. Temp stat damage, whatever. But do we have a thing for using it? Give item.
Chat GPT.
No. We're not using ChatGPT for this. Okay, so here we get the slot. We get the item, we check if it's consumable. This should be add to slot. And we're doing that correctly. The only thing we need to include here is slot. And that becomes star slot as use size. Okay, fine. So that should now call the function correctly. Drop should also be add to slot because we should be adding to a specific slot.
Can you coding in C++?
I can do C++. I don't do it very often though. I'm currently coding in Rust because it's what I prefer. Okay, so we pass that in like that. Unequip's fine. Pickup is fine. Equip is fine. Okay. Let's try this. Reboot the server.
He's a Bevy engine developer, so he wants to keep using it to make the game.
Yes, that is true. Okay, let's log in. Alright. If we pick up this item, we get it in our new slot. Perfect. Hello. Morty is saying hi. If we click on it, it adds that. Well, we have a bug where the use is not working correctly anymore. Hello, Prosto.
Morty wants the sacred liquid.
He
Hence
does.
the screams.
To be fair, I have left the things over here on
Well,
disabled.
hello, Morty.
Okay. Alright then, I will unpause this. Who wants to give Morty a treat? This is the question. Who wants to give you a treat? Nope, no one's
Nope.
going to give Morty a treat. Well, mate, I'm sorry. You can't have a treat. Chat's saying no today. I don't make the rules. Yeah, I know. Chat will not give you liquid chicken. Do you think if we quickly go on BRB and run a 1-minute ad break while we get it, that when we get back,
Flip this. Chat bullying Morty.
then Morty can have a treat? If we show them the treat that we'll give you, do you think that they'll be encouraged to give you a treat? Do you think? All right. I'm going to be right back while I go get the treat.
Nope.
All right, we are back. So these are the treats that we give to Morty on stream. He is here. So if you want him to have one of these, that's on you guys. This feels incredibly mean knowing that they're right there and he saw me get them. So don't make me into an asshole. Come on, guys. Alrighty then. Let's jump back into debugging. Yeah, I'm going to debug the issues.
Na Morty afatas. Doesn't need them.
Do you hear this, mate? They're calling you fat. What a boy. Okay, so if we go back up to the inventory code, we go here. We have the add to slot.
Make Morty work for treat.
He works very hard. He is debugging with me.
Make him do code.debug for you.
What are you doing?
doesn't work hard, he has half to one brain cell.
He does have half to one brain cell, but that's not his fault. It's not his fault he was born in a bin. No, it's not your fault you were born in a bin. How could they say such things to you? Right, okay.
So you saying you couldn't offer him any extra brain cells?
No, unfortunately not, because I was also born in a bin, don't you know? Like father, like son. Did we lose Scott? I don't know. Okay, where is this? So this adds as much of the slot. Okay, that should be fine. So we get the stack plus the value. So if we do 1 plus minus 1, then we end up with 0. So that should be fine. We insert that. Self.change slots. Remainder equals 0. If slot.stack.1 is greater than max stack, I know the issue. We now need to do one last thing. If the slot is empty, replace it with 0. No, with none. So, to do that, we just do if slot stack equals, slot stack.1 is less than 0, then I think if it's less than 0, it's fine. Then what we want to do is we want to say that where are you going? Then star slot current is equal to none. Right. That should fix our current issue. And then that should allow us to do what we couldn't do before. Because that now means that if we eat this... Damn, it's still not working. Why is that not working? Right, let's quickly go over to this. I'm going to say we're just going to quickly do that. And the reason I'm going to quickly do that is that then we can at least see what's going wrong. Wait, that's in the equip function. We don't want to do that in the equip function. That's probably a bad place to do it. So we don't care about equip. We want use. So here. And we can change this to let error equals this. And we can get rid of this is error here. Print line error like that. There we go. Run the client, rerun the server. Feels weird to be modifying this code again after so long. Okay, so let's click this. And no error there. So what's wrong with this? Item.0 minus item.1. Add as much to the slot as we can. Print line. New stack size. Slot stack. .1. Okay, so that's after that we've done that. Let's see what it's spitting out, if it's even getting there. So let's log out quickly. Restart the server once again. Relog in. Oh, I've typed the password in wrong. Drink some water. New stack size 0. Interesting. Because that would imply that it's working. If there's nothing left, so change slot. So new stack size is this. Oh. This was a simple bug. Let's reboot that. For anyone who wasn't clear on what just happened, we had less than 0. We need less than equal to 0. Very simple. Okay, let's log in. Okay, and now you can use specific items from your inventory. Awesome. So, now we need to do something a little bit more complicated because we need to add the ability to move items. So let's add that, let's add that, let's add that. So that, and we'll do this as a new feature. Inventory. Use specific items from the inventory. Okay. And then we're going to go over to our client. And we need to do some stuff on the client side version of this. Where is the inventory? The inventory is some of the oldest code we have in the game. So I'm not entirely sure how easy this is going to be to do. So we've got the inventory management plugin, which has a very simple thing here. that handles inventory updates. So I'm assuming this is in UI inventory. Right. Okay, so we have Right, let's create a new struct in here. It's going to require us to do a little bit of shenanigans. But we're going to do pub fn. No, not pub fn. Pub struct draggable. Bool. Derive component. Right. And so what we're going to do on the inventory slot is we're going to say, actually, do we need this? No, we don't. Okay, let's do something else here. Let's do pub fn spawn held item. This is going to be a slightly weird function, I think. So we're going to do muck commands is equal to this. We're then going to take the UI assets. We don't care about much else here. And then we're going to say we're going to create a new resource. Yes, pub struct held item is going to be option item stack, which is going to derive resource. And we're going to implement default on this and debug because we will definitely need those. We're going to need our held item, which is going to be res held item. And okay. What did I just... Sorry, guys, that's not what I meant. Don't worry, that was a misclick. I'm so sorry. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Okay. So the held item is this. And the way this works is we've got to set the position of the held item image to equal this. So we're going to say pub struct held sprite. Do we need this to be a resource? Yeah, we do. Okay. Fine. And then